Thank you, Mayor Lucas, for the invitation to join you at this historic celebration as we sign the federal grant agreement for the Kansas City Streetcar Main Street Extension. I'd also like to take a moment to recognize Tom Gerund, Kansas City Streetcar Authority Executive Director, and his team at the Kansas City Streetcar Authority, as well as Robbie Makinen, KCATA CEO, and his team at the Kansas City Area Transportation Authority, City Manager Brian Platt, and the Kansas City City Council, the City of Kansas City, Missouri, and of course, our FTA Region 7 and headquarters staff with me here virtually today in celebrating this significant grant. I'd also like to acknowledge the congressional leaders who have been supportive of this project, including Senators Blunt, Hawley, and Moran, and Representatives Graves, Cleaver, and Davids. Thank you all for the incredible amount of time and effort each of you have dedicated to make signing of an agreement possible. Thanks also to everyone joining us today to celebrate the signing of the full funding grant agreement for the streetcar extension. On behalf of Secretary Elaine Chao and the U.S. Department of Transportation, I am pleased to sign this $174.1 million federal grant agreement with the City of Kansas City, Missouri for the Kansas City Streetcar Main Street Extension. But first, let me begin by acknowledging the heroic efforts of the transit industry, particularly frontline workers during the COVID-19 public health emergency. Since the beginning, the transit industry has provided essential services to communities large and small across our nation, transporting essential workers in healthcare, emergency response, and food services, jobs that have sustained all of us over the past several months. Thank you for your resilience and commitment to providing critical transportation services for the millions of Americans who depend on public transportation every day. This project, funded through FTA's Capital Investment Grants Program, will extend the original Kansas City streetcar 3.5 miles south from Union Station to the University of Missouri, Kansas City. This grant, the first capital investment grant awarded to the streetcar and the largest federal transit award in the city's history, adds to the growing streetcar network that started with the opening of the original 2-mile line 4 years ago. The streetcar will link riders to jobs and educational opportunities at the university, as well as improve access and mobility to community services and support economic development along the Main Street corridor. The streetcar has been credited already with helping revitalize downtown Kansas City with billions of dollars in investment, and more development is being planned along the route. By connecting with buses, including the MAX bus rapid transit system run by the Kansas City Area Transportation Authority and partially funded through a $29.89 million FTA capital investment grant in 2018, the streetcar creates a more integrated transit system in Kansas City. With today's announcement, FTA has advanced funding for 41 new CIG projects throughout the nation under the Trump administration since January 20th, 2017. Totaling approximately $10.7 billion in funding commitments. The streetcar extension has already received 2 funding allocations totaling $100 million, demonstrating our commitment to this project. The USDOT supported the 3rd streetcar line, the Riverfront extension, through a $14.2 million build grant in September. Today's announcement is in addition to the $25 billion in federal aid this administration is providing to transit systems nationwide during the COVID-19 public health emergency, including $287 million to the state of Missouri, $55 million of which went to Kansas City. Our support for public transportation helps keep America moving and plays a vital role in the nation's continued economic recovery. With that, I'm happy to officially sign the full funding grant agreement for the Kansas City Streetcar Main Street Extension. As you can see on the screen located behind me, we have gathered the DC headquarters and regional FTA staff responsible for getting this $174.1 million grant agreement with Kansas City across the finish line. I'd like to particularly thank our FTA Region 7 Administrator, Makti Ahmad, and his team, as well as the Associate Administrator of Planning and the Environment, Felicia James, and FTA's Associate Administrator of Program Management, Bruce Robinson, and their teams. Thank you for your dedication and diligence. We are proud to be your federal partner supporting the Kansas City Streetcar Extension and the Americans who depend on public transportation.